I'm just so like mind blown by that. Hello. Oh, I don't know where to stand. Do I stand here and just cut off the top of my head, or do I stand here and just be really far away? I'm Michaela, and today I'm doing something that doesn't involve books. I've been wanting to do this for a while on my channel, is like talk about films and maybe start doing some film reviews. I'm also going to be doing like lots of people have been doing it. I've been wanting to do it for ages, but there's been that part of my brain that's like, don't do that, people will think you're copying them. But you know what, I don't really care because like it's still original content. And that is doing like a wrap up of the month about all the different stories that I've consumed. So that'll be happening maybe next week? I don't know, I have a lineup of videos. I'm actually being proactive with this, which just doesn't happen very often. Anyway, today we are here to talk about films that I rewatch at least once every year, except for last year because I was living in a house where I did not have like a DVD player or just access to these films. Let's go. This is really just in no particular order. I'm just gonna talk about them. First of all is X-Men First Class, directed by Matthew Vaughn, not the ugly Bryan Singer. This is a part of the prequel series to the X-Men trilogy. If you don't know what X-Men is, it is mutants. So they're basically like more evolved humans and they have superpowers, and it's a lot of fun and it's great, and it is a very well done metaphor for minorities in general. It's amazing. A lot of people just don't like the prequel series, but I do, and James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are amazing in this, and I love the whole cast except for like one person, but we're not gonna talk about that. It's so beautiful, and it is historical fiction. It's set in the 60s. Each of the 3 movies in this trilogy are set in a different decade each, so it's 60s, 70s, 80s. This one's my favorite. I don't really care for the other 2. They're fine, whatever, but I love this one a lot. Next we have, which will be no shock to anyone if you watch my videos because I fucking mention this all the time, and that is Stardust. I almost said Stardust by Neil Gaiman. It is based on the book by Neil Gaiman. No fucking way. Matthew Vaughn directed this as well. Same director. So now that we figured that out, which is blowing my fucking mind, I should check out more of his work. I know he did Kingsman, which I love, so I guess I'm a Matthew Vaughn fan. I don't know anything about him except that he makes movies that I like. This is a fantasy film based on the book of the same title by Neil Gaiman, my love. Basically, a guy has to go off to find a star to prove that he loves this girl, and there's lots of adventures and Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's great. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, directed by Christopher Columbus, who did a lot of other cool movies, and the first Percy Jackson movie, which I think gets too much flack. This is the first film in the Harry Potter series based on the books, the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. A boy goes to a wizarding school. That's all you need to know. I rewatch it every year with the intent on rewatching the whole series, but that doesn't happen. I just like watch this one and another one. Following that, we have Prisoner of Azkaban, based on the book Prisoner of Azkaban from the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. Basically what happens every year is I watch Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and then I just skip to Prisoner of Azkaban because it's the best. I don't think I could ever get sick of this movie. It is definitely one of my top favorite movies of all time. Directed by Alfonso Cuarón. It's Buckbeak. It's Buckbeak. Harry Potter in his 3rd year at Hogwarts. I really don't think I need to explain what these movies are, but I'm just saying it anyway. Yeah, I just think this film is artistically incredible. It is so close to the book, and the book is my favorite in the series. I'm going to get into why, because that is probably just something for another video. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, more like Harry Potter and You've Imprisoned My Heart. Wild Child, directed by Nick Moore. I don't know who that is, except this is One of my favorite movies. I really dislike Emma Roberts a lot, but like this movie is amazing and it's hilarious. Basically, a spoiled rich brat goes to a boarding school in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in England, and it's a fun time. She learns how to be a nice person. It's got two very fantastic montages in it, and the lady who plays Moaning Myrtle is in this, and she appears on screen 3 seconds after they say Harry Potter. And the fashion in this is amazing. It deserved costume design awards. The uniform that she wears, that she like made herself, it's so good. Hairspray! Directed by Adam Shankman, starring my favorite boy, Zac Efron. He's not my favorite boy, but he's up there. So this is based on a musical of the same name, and that musical was based on a film of the same name, a John Waters film. John Waters has an interesting style. His stuff is definitely not for everyone. It is a very weird sense of humor. It's enjoyable for me, but like, it's not my favorite stuff. So this hairspray is very different from John Waters' hairspray. It is glittering and magical, and it's a musical. It's got Queen Latifah, Michelle Pfeiffer again. I love Michelle Pfeiffer. She's great. And James Marsden, the most beautiful man. So if you like movies and the 60s and political movements and also musicals, this is really great. Tracy Turnblad is a plus-size girl who wants to be on a TV show that is singing and dancing, and along the way to getting on the show, she encounters a lot of hatred, but also a lot of hatred directed to some of her friends who are black. And as you probably know, in the 60s in America, racism was very present. Like, it obviously still is, but it's like screamingly present. So Tracy decides that she wants to start using her fame to help. So that's nice. Yee! Notting Hill, which is my favorite romantic comedy of all time. Hugh Grant is in his prime in this one, and Julia Roberts is always amazing. Directed by Roger Mitchell. Don't know who he is or what else he's done. This guy owns a bookstore in Notting Hill, and one day a famous actress comes in, and the story progresses and they start dating, and then it's just like about that. And there's a really famous line at the end of the movie, and I just cry so much every time, and it's good and you should watch it. And it makes me think of Olivia by One Direction. Now, another one of my favorite romantic comedies that I watch every year around Christmas time, and that is Love Actually, directed by Richard Curtis. Wow, I know that name. What else does he do? This is sort of like, I don't know how to explain this. I want to say it's an anthology, but it's not. It's a bunch of different love stories that all intertwine at little points, and it's Christmas, and the great, really cute cowboy from Westworld is in it. Colin Firth is in it. We all love Colin Firth. This one is also based on a book. Pride and Prejudice, directed by Joe Wright. This film is so beautiful, and I find more things to appreciate in it every time I watch it, but it uses zooms a lot, and I think in very comical ways. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be comical, but it's fucking hilarious to me. The story of these two together is so great. Pride and Prejudice is about Lizzie, whose mother wants her to get married, and she's like, I only want to get married for love. And then this awkward motherfucker comes along. He's very rich. They kind of like hate each other, but they're very attracted to each other. They hate each other on terms based on the title, which is Pride and Prejudice, based on a book of the same name by Jane Austen. This film is fucking stunning. And Connie and Carla, directed by Michael Lembach, written by Nia Vardalos. I don't know how to say her last name, but she's the lady who wrote and starred in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She also wrote and starred in this. It's about two women who witness a murder, and then they go into hiding, not under like witness protection. They do this by themselves. They go into hiding on the other side of the country and they hide out as drag queens. So they're essentially women pretending to be men who pretend to be women. Fantastic cast. Everyone who plays a drag queen in this movie is a drag queen. I mean, obviously, except for these two ladies. The wonderful late Debbie Reynolds is in this and I love her so much. And finally, we have Peter Pan. Wow, Michaela, you love that movie? What a shocker. It's not like you like Peter Pan at all. So Peter Pan is one of my favorite books of all time. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I've watched this like every year since I was 14. Do you need me to explain what Peter Pan is? Basically, Peter Pan is a kid that never grows up and Wendy and her brothers go visit him on his magical island. And Peter Pan is actually kind of an antagonist, so... PJ Hogan directed this. He is an Australian director responsible for Muriel's Wedding and Mental, both starring Toni Collette. And they're outstanding and actually show the true face of Australia. Unlike fucking Crocodile Dundee, which they are making another one for, and I want to kill myself. I literally wrote an essay about why that movie is so embarrassing to Australians. I'm fucking... That one will never make this list. I'm never going to watch Crocodile Dundee again unless I'm forced to for school. So anyway, yes, PJ Hogan is amazing. He directed this. It is so beautiful. It's very colorful. They use saturation in such a great way. Most movies that oversaturate things are complete shit. But this one does it so well. It's great and I love it. It's very close to the novel. Thank you, PJ. Another one that I watch a lot that I don't actually own in a hard copy is Moulin Rouge. Directed by Baz Luhrmann. It's a story about vaguely Romeo and Juliet because all of Baz Luhrmann's stuff is vaguely Romeo and Juliet, which is weird because I love his stuff, but I don't like Romeo and Juliet at all. This writer moves to France in the Bohemian area, makes friends with a bunch of Bohemians, and they start writing this musical and they want this lovely Satine to star in it. She's technically a prostitute, I think. She works at the Moulin Rouge. And then so the show will be put on at Moulin Rouge by Harry Ziegler. Long story short, it's a whirlwind romance that's also a forbidden romance. A lot of shit goes down and there's like the greatest cover of any song ever. It's Roxanne by the Police, but the version they do is so good. And that concludes my list of movies that I rewatch every year. I think La La Land will make the cut. Like, I will probably start rewatching that all the time. And another one that I think I'm going to start watching every year is the 2015 Cinderella. Actually, I have watched that every year since it came out, so I guess that's on the list. Directed by Kenneth Branagh. It is beautiful and it fucking deserved that costume design Oscar. I don't fucking care how much you love Mad Max Fury Road. The costumes in that were not as good as the costumes in Cinderella. Good night. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to stick around and see more film stuff or for more book stuff. Or wow, I bumped the camera and it got sideways. Stick around if you'd like some more film stuff or some book stuff. If you like bookish stuff, this is the channel for you, but probably not. If you like bookish stuff, it'll be here. Yeah, okay. That's me done. Oh, that was an ugly noise.